Hello there everyone and welcome to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode 11, if I'm not mistaken. No, actually it's episode 12 of Career Mode, and we are here in Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix. So to start things off, the only update we had coming for the weekend failed, the tire wear failed, so that won't be on the car for this track, but I don't think it will be too much of a problem. We end up in last place in practice 1, but we didn't really do any serious running, and we also had older components fitted in the car, so not much of a surprise there, being in last place. But for practice 2, we will put the fresher parts, as you see right here, and hopefully we will have more of a representation of our actual pace here in Hockenheim. But so far, this season overall has been going pretty well. I mean, we've already got a podium under our belt. Kimi won as well and got a podium last time out in Austria. So, the team is definitely improving a lot. Actually, last race was the British Grand Prix, so he actually had a DNF, but in Austria he was pretty good, got a P3, I got P5. I was able to hold Hamilton behind me until the safety car came, the virtual safety car, and in the end he was able to get a podium since Verstappen had a retirement from P2. And as you saw there, we were at the top of practice 2. Well, not at top, but we were in P5, I believe, if I remember correctly. And yeah, obviously, as per usual, practice 3 we do no runs. But yeah, practice 2 pace seemed really, it seemed good enough for this place, but not that confident going to qualifying. The pace of the car in qualifying doesn't really seem that great. It will probably be better in the race, but I guess we will have to wait and see. But let's go to quali.
Welcome to Germany for today's qualifying session at the famous Hockenheim ring. The pit lane lights will turn green in the next minute or two to signify the start of qualifying.
And we jump straight off to our first lap in Q1. It wasn't too bad in the mediums. Decided to do second lap just to see how it was going, and it puts us last place. So obviously the pace really isn't that great here, at least in qualifying, and here I almost lost the car in my second run, this time in the soft compound tires. But so far the lap has been pretty good, besides the first corner where I almost lost control, but first sector was still pretty positive, still won a couple of tenths. And going to cross the line, that puts us P9, and by the end of the session I believe we will probably have a decent enough time to get us through. But I felt like we still had to do another run just to make sure. First sector wasn't that great. We were actually losing time, not much. It was probably just a couple of thousandths of a second. But as we go through the second sector, we improve by 12 thousandths of a second. So that's not really inspiring. But as we go in the third sector, that puts us in P13. Just enough to get us through to qualifying 2. And yeah, the racing points both out, as well as the Williams, and Sainz in the McLaren is also out in qualifying 1. So let's get straight into qualifying 2. And as you can see, the weather is starting to become a little bit worse. A lot of clouds are starting to emerge, especially here in the last corner. Here I go a little bit wide in the last corner, and that puts me P4, but by a few minutes later we are already in P10, and by the time we go out for our final run, we are in last place, 15th place, behind Raikkonen, who will hopefully improve because at least one of us needs to get to Q3. But yeah, right now, this last lap we improved on the first sector, nothing too big of a margin. I'm not sure. No, I did win on fresh compound. This was the last one I had. So the first run I did was on worn out tires. But this one is on fresh ones, so I was hoping that this one might just be enough to put me in Q3, just by the fact that there were much fresher, but in the end it wasn't enough, and it's only P11 in qualifying 2, and that means we are out and we won't be in qualifying 3 for the first time in a long while, really. I think the last time we weren't in Q3 was in Spain, if I'm not mistaken, so definitely not the bestest of news, but we are the first car in the field to choose which tires I want to start in, so in the end I don't really have much to complain. We might even be able to do a major upset and try and outsmart the front teams, maybe try and gun for a top 5 finish, or top 6 finish in this case, but we will have to push a lot in the race. But the pace was never that good in qualifying. I wasn't expecting to be strong, but in the race I will expect a much stronger rhythm. But let's go on to the race.
Good afternoon and welcome to a place that is very special to us all in the Formula One community. It's the Hockenheim Ring, home of the German Grand Prix. Always good for a close scrap is Hockenheim. Think back to Alonso, Ricciardo, Vettel as recently as 2014, and I'm expecting some more strong racing today. We're racing in the Rhine Valley this weekend at the home of many of the sport's finest competitors. The 2.8-mile Hockenheim Ring requires precision through the technical stadium section and great raw speed down the long, flat-out curve towards the popular overtaking zone of the Turn 6 hairpin. Watch out for a lot of wheel-to-wheel action there today. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about old-timer. They're still relatively new to a sport which does have a high learning curve and, of course, little tolerance for mistakes.
That's right, it is a difficult environment to come into. In junior categories, you're competing against drivers with similar levels of experience. But some of these guys in Formula One have been there for over a decade. But I have to say, in this case, it's so far so good.
Right, let's be patient going into turn 1. We want to be in a good position for the rest of the race. Good luck.
So hello there everyone, and welcome to the race in the German Grand Prix. Our tactic will be from the mediums to the hards. So hopefully we will be able to do a longer run in both stints and hopefully end up higher on the grid than what we are right now. So let's go. 5 red lights and away we go. Yeah, we started in P9. Some other people got some grid penalties, but as we go into the first corner we go on the outside of Norris, but nothing really doing there, and we are able to stretch a little bit away from the rest of the field there. And we're able to get Norris. No, we're just not there yet. I almost lose control there as I'm checking to see if I got any damage from Ricciardo. But as we go into turn 4, we were able to get the inside of the corner and we get a better exit, and we are through to P8. Here we are now in lap 3. We are behind Ricciardo, but we're going to be able to get completely past him in the straight. Didn't even need to wait for the corner, and we once again win another position, and we are through to P7, as you can see here in the replay. It wasn't even needed to get to the corner, just the sheer power of our engine was enough to get us through. And now as we go to lap 5, we just keep on banging some of our fastest laps, and here is the front of the field. They're all very close together, besides Bottas, who's already leading with quite a bit of a gap there. And now Kimi is already on the pits in lap 7. He's trying to, try something different. Obviously, well, not really something different. He started the race on the softest of the soft tires, and now he's going on to the mediums. But he'll still need to do another stop because no way he's going to be able to stretch those mediums until the end. As far as for our race, by the time we got to lap 8, we were already in P4. I mean, this strategy will always work because right now we have the pace to fight, to defend against the front-running teams. And doing this strategy, it just allowed me to pretty much do an overcut on everybody. At this point they're all dealing with a lot of the back markers, and we're just able to cruise free, have some free air ahead of us, and just keep pushing and try to create a gap while these guys have to negotiate with the slower cars. As you see here, Toro Rosso, here's a Racing Point, and while they are sort of getting ahead of these cars, they're also fighting amongst themselves, so they keep on losing a lot of time, and that was really helping my strategy at this point. As you can see there, I was almost losing control of the car, but as I was saying, the strategy was working to perfection because they were all fighting with each other, and that allowed me to stretch away and create a good gap.
You are in first position, front of the pack. Bottas is behind you. The gap to the car behind is 3.8 seconds. They're on fresh hards. Your pit window opens next lap. You have 20 laps till the end.
At this point in the race, I started to feel the tires go off quite a bit in lap 15, and here is, I believe it's Verstappen? Could it be Verstappen again? At this point, no, it wasn't Verstappen, it was Pierre Gasly, and that allowed me to actually go into the pit, so under the virtual safety car. So I was able to pretty much get to my pit crew under the virtual safety car. Unfortunately, it was disabled right when I was getting to them, so I didn't really gain that much time. I mean, I won just enough time so that I would be in a good position. I was ahead of Verstappen even, and behind this fight here between one of the Ferraris and one of the Mercedes, it's Hamilton and Leclerc, so they're fighting it out. I'm behind them. I'm not really trying to push for them. I need to take these mediums to the end, so I'm just doing my own race, not really getting too involved with them because I don't need to. And while that's happening, there's also another fight here. Kimi is being overtaken around the outside by Max Verstappen, and he's now charging towards me, but looks like Kimi was just about able to keep ahead of him. Once again, we are checking out the fight between Hamilton and Leclerc. This time Hamilton is able to finally overtake him, and just a little bit later they go into the pits and they do their last stop while I'm right there with Verstappen right behind me. I think he stopped a bit later, both Red Bulls did, so at this point his tires, I think he's going to stretch the tires till the end if I'm not mistaken. So I have to be able to get him once again. He just overtook me there on the second corner, and now at the end of the straight I once again get the position, but I go a little bit deep, I brake a bit late, and in the end it wasn't enough for him to re-overtake me, and I'm able to keep P2. And at this point you do have to realize that I'm actually fighting for effective P2 in the race. I did the one-stop strategy, and at this point I'm only focusing on keeping Verstappen behind me, because a lot of fast guys who are on softer or who are on fresher tires are getting close, and at this point I was just letting him through in the second straight so that I could overtake him in the third one where I actually have DRS. So in the end it was an effective strategy since I did it a lot of times. This is already the third lap in a row where I keep letting him overtake me, and I just prepare the overtake on the straight, and I don't even need to get to the corner to overtake him. I just go on the inside, on the outside. No matter where I go, I'm just able to have more straight line speed than him, and we do have to remember that right now in this career mode we have the second fastest engine, or the second strongest engine on the grid, while the Red Bulls are kind of in the midfield aspect of the engine. They don't really have a strong one with their underpowered engine. But yeah, we do it once again, fourth lap in a row, but this time Sebastian Vettel is in the mix and he tries to overtake Verstappen on the outside, and it might just be enough to overtake him, but no, it wasn't in the end, and Verstappen kept the position. Now this time, fifth lap in a row, once again he overtakes me. I prepared to do the re-overtake 5 times already in a row. It's just a bit crazy. I just need to keep managing this. Need to make sure that I didn't get a bad exit in that corner, because if I did, might be my final mistake. And here I had another one. Vettel was on the inside, I wasn't expecting him, and he was able to overtake me. And I still thought about it going there, but he defended the inside. I didn't still try to go there. I don't know why. I was kind of desperate because I knew it would be hard to overtake Vettel. And here we go around the outside of Vettel. I go a bit too deep, and Vettel is able to keep the position once again. And at this point I was getting a bit nervous. Vettel was starting to get away, but I knew I had a decent straight line speed, so here in the DRS zones, as long as I had the DRS here, it was enough. And then by the time we get to the fourth corner, I'm able to get him. I had a little bit of a worrying approach there, getting out of the corner, but fortunately, once again, I'm able to try to attack him, but this time I was actually able to get him, and now he's behind me, and he has to do with Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, who has already caught up to us as well. And now Verstappen once again trying to overtake me. This left me very nervous at this moment, because I knew I wouldn't be able to get him anymore, so I just did this lunge. I know this a little bit too much. I think I went a little bit too hard, but I knew there I had to overtake him there, so yeah. And also thumbnail material. This will be the thumbnail if you realize it. But yeah, I knew I need to get him there, because if I didn't, I felt like I would lose touch, because my hard tires were not really that strong at this moment. And here Vettel does the same thing Verstappen did to me, but I'm able to do what I did to Verstappen as well. So once again, the same maneuver I did on Verstappen around 6 times in this race in the last 10 laps, I'm able to once again do it. And I'm able to keep P2 for the moment, while Bottas wins the race by a very big margin, thanks to me mostly. And now, in the last sector, I'm just trying to take the car home, P2. I wasn't really expecting this much of a good result, but what a podium.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
There you go. Bottas gets P1, we get P2, and Vettel P3 takes it away from Verstappen. And in the end, quite a bit of a surprise there, seeing me on the podium. I mean, not even getting to Q3 was a bit worrying, but the pace in the race was just amazing. I was able to keep the fast guys behind me, and in the end Verstappen even got P5. I mean, his tires were a bit older than most people as well, so not much of a surprise, but if he was able to overtake me and get away from me, he would have definitely been in P2 pretty easily. But in the end, we start from P11 into P2. A great race overall, and yeah, another podium for Alpha, the 4th of the season. Kimi, I didn't see there, but I do think he finished on the points there, at the back of the top 10. We are cutting away the distance to Red Bull, and yeah, we're doing a pretty good job this season.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Lucas flew through the pack in that race. What's his secret? You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy? You must be thrilled to be up on the podium. It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it?
I feel like she keeps saying this in every weekend.
Great. Well, that's everything.
There you go, me and Raikkonen, we get more points, I get another podium. and we are cutting away on in the Constructors Championship. We are getting closer to Red Bull, so hopefully we will be able to keep up the momentum that we've been having since Monaco at this point. And overall it was a pretty good race. I mean, probably what I need to start doing is not getting to Q3, because if we do a one stop we have enough pace to fight for a podium as we did here. So yeah, as far as development, I'm not sure if I already spent some of the points last time. I think I did to the tire wear, one that failed for this weekend. I think I've already updated it so that we get it in the next weekend. So now we're going for downforce, we're going for drag, and that's all the resource points. We don't have enough for another one. But yeah, hopefully for next race we'll be able to get these two in the car. At least one of them will be in the car, definitely. And yeah, another great race, another great result. Hopefully the season will continue. Next time out we will be in Hungary. And then we'll have the summer break. And then obviously Spa-Francorchamps in the Belgian Grand Prix. So we'll have to try and keep up the momentum like I said before. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Another great podium. And I will see you in the next one.